Hi everyone and welcome back to another episode of United Adventures. It has been incredible since all around the world after Cape Verde held Spanish side on a 0-0 draw. It has been a massive upset for Spanish side after they could not manage to pass through the defensive line of Cape Verde. It has been another side of African glory coming to reign in this World Cup because Cape Verde is their first ever performance or their first appearance in the World Cup 2026 in the USA. It's been amazing to see how things are turning around, but what shocks around is because Spanish could not manage to score even a single goal against them. It has actually been anticipated that Spanish team could have won with a big margin, but never happened because these teams are coming to prove the world otherwise, because other ways of playing football, because the Spanish side had really good players on their bench, on their pitch, and they could not even score a single goal. What matters too much, or what shocks much, is that they have been having a lot of draws and too much upsets for different teams. And what is going to be happening in the near future is that every team have to fight too hard to make sure they have to stay in this World Cup. It has been a resilient performance from Cape Verde after what I saw from their goalkeeper, stopping a lot of shots on target and most of them making it very good for himself in international standard or in a global stand. What matters to him now is because he has set a bar high up, and everyone is going to keep an eye on what happened in this type of small team. It actually the third smallest team in this competition, but that really doesn't matter to them anymore because they managed to stop Spanish side in this competition. If you go to the stats of that game, Spanish side had a 74% possession of the football compared to Cape Verde. They had just 26. They had to sit back and make sure that Spanish team doesn't pass through them. What another thing that really matters to them is like they had 11 corners. The Spanish team had 11 corners, but they did not manage even to convert even a single one. That means this Cape Verde's team was really determined to stop them and make a statement in this global status football. It has been a beautiful football all around the world because, of course, the expectation was all about the fans. Actually, if you would have gone to most of the platforms, everyone was saying, you don't have to see the Yamal, we don't have to see anyone, we just want to the fans, they are enjoying. But the performance was on the pitch of these gentlemen or these boys, and this capacity of players came to light and made a statement. Another thing that could have been checking that position is like Spain has two big chances. That means they could have converted at least two, but they didn't even manage to do even a single one. Something else to see is their Cape Verde goalkeeper. This gentleman called Vonzina had a very good performance and makes himself a good status goalkeeper now. Everyone is going to keep an eye for him. Something else to keep an eye is this gentleman or the backline of Cape Verde. They had a good game, although they had a very low rating given to them. It didn't matter to them, but what matters is this team managed to penetrate to another match without a defeat. If you go to that group standing now, the other match that was played in another venue was Uruguay versus Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia made another surprise on that performance because, of course, Uruguay was stopped and they were held on a 0-0 performance. If you are still sleeping on this World Cup, you should not be sleeping anymore, because expectation of everyone is that these big or small teams that people are expecting to be losing, they are making statements day in, day out. So that means Uruguay and Saudi Arabia, they had a 1-1 draw, and that means Uruguay in the top of that group, Saudi Arabia be the second, because they have 1 goal. Spain has the number 3 and Cape Verde is on number 4. So this is going to be an interesting match or a group to watch, because it's going to be massively dependent on what happens on the result. Otherwise, Spanish team has to make sure that now they have to bring the stars on the right, because their players didn't much. Although Cucurella from Spain, or the one from Chelsea going to Real Madrid, he really had a good job, and he was carrying the ball very nicely from that side, although it was not converted. Someone else who had a good game was Rodri from Man City. Laporte from Spanish time was also there. Kubasi from Barcelona was doing a brilliant job. Torres was doing a brilliant job, but he didn't even have one goal getting past them. Gavi from Barcelona. We can always say that this team, or Brazilian team, is actually surrounded by a lot of Brazilian, from Barcelona players. So most of them in that lineup is actually from Barcelona, but they did not even manage to pass through Cape Verde. Well, it was actually, we had some substitutions on that game, and Yamal brought some brilliant performance from him, but it was not enough for him, because he came on 71st minute, and when Gavi was substituted, but didn't make sense to them, because of course they not convert. What matters in this kind of performances or this kind of games is not about how you perform, it's about the result comes out after the match. Someone else who was brought in was Nico Williams. He did not bring too much to in the team, but of course they really tried to attack them, but they did not succeed. We can always say the next game to watch is Spain. I don't know what I'm saying about Brazil anyway. Probably it's because I'm supporting them. Another thing to check is Spain versus Saudi Arabia. I don't know what is going to happen. And it is said that Yamal and Nico Williams, they are not still 100% fit. That may be a concern for Spain. But I think by how they saw things now, I think they may end up having to start them now and see if they can get the first win on this competition. So let's keep the conversation going. Comment down there. Let's see, who do you think is going to come to be on the top on that table? Of course, everyone is expecting Spain to be the best, because of course they are the European winners. And another thing is, everyone is expecting them to win because they have very brilliant players on their squad. And on the other side is actually they are actually the ranked number 2 on the FIFA ranking, and Cape Verde that held them was 67. So it's not about the ranking anymore, it's about how every team performs on their own matches without depending on another team or another player or another thing, because they have to play in a good mode and coming together all together. Because what we saw with Cape Verde, they played in a good way as they were covering each other and make sure that nobody could have fallen short of making them suffer. So it's a brilliant performance from Cape Verde, the African team. The first appearance for them, they have made a statement in this competition, and it's going to be interesting to see how it turns around. And let's see what happens on the next. See you on the next. Thank you so much, and see you then.